Happy 90th birthday, Isabel.
What 3 words would you use to describe Isabel?
Wow, warm, courageous, funny.
What's your funniest memory of Isabel?
Apple bobbing at Halloween in Eber Drive.
And what's your most cherished memory?
Going to see my lovely Aunt Isabel when sometimes I wasn't feeling wonderful, and she always made me feel loved and safe.
And what did she mean to you?
What does she mean to me? That's an interesting one. What does she mean to me? I guess she meant all the good things there are about human beings.
In your view, what was Isabel's biggest achievement?
I think keep a very balanced, honest view on life, and bring up 3 great boys by herself.
And what do you remember her for?
Just her immense capacity for love and treating people all the same way.
Who are you?
I'm Debbie Taylor.
How did you know Isabel?
I know Isabel through her son Brian and her daughter-in-law Liz.
Describe Isabel in 3 words.
A lovely lady.
What's your most cherished memory of her?
Cherished memory would have been down in Bungalow, down in Cash.
Okay. Anything in particular?
She's so giddy.
Always laughing. What's your funniest memory of her?
Down there too.
Anything in particular?
Well, there was a prank was played. Ed had done it on the 2 girls, and Isabel was sitting. And they blew out the candle. He started to tell her like a ghost story. And he says, and the lights went out, and he blew out the candle, and everybody run everywhere. And Isabel, when the lights went on, Isabel was killing herself laughing. We couldn't stop laughing at her.
What did she mean to you?
I would like to think me and Isabel could get on quite well, because it was a cup of tea and a wee smoke, and that was me and her.
Sorted.
Yeah.
Life's basics. What was her biggest achievement in your eyes?
You see?
We'll skip that one. Right?
Yeah.
What will you remember her for?
Right, well, it was Brian's 40th, our sons, and we were in the Windsor, and Isabel came in, and I had went over to her for, and I says, you're all right? And she says, I'd love a cup of tea. And I says, well, I'll get you a cup of tea in a wee minute. So I went over to the bar staff, and he says, like, I only had 2 glasses to put a cup of tea in. And I says, 2 minutes, and I run over to your nanny, and I says, it'll be in 2 glasses. And she turned around, she says, that'll do me. Here's me. So I went over, got her a cup of tea made. Here's me, and then she sat and enjoyed her cup of tea.
Did she ever inspire you?
I think it was just her nature. Do you know that way?
Yeah.
She was very, she was all up for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was up for a good laugh and what have you.
Yeah.
And she did, as I say, me and her used to just go out. As soon as I went into your house, Ada went in and I says, cup of tea, Isabel? Yes. Me and her went out the back for a wee smoke.
Smoker's Corner.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Deborah and I'm Brian's girlfriend, and I first met Isabel 30 odd years ago whenever I used to call around for Brian when they lived at number 1, and she was always smiling. Always remember her smiling. She was very warm, very welcoming, and always would have made conversation with me. And then I didn't see her for years after that until I went to the centre, the community centre with my own kids.
Yeah.
And she was helping out down there. And she used to go on the trips, her and her friend Bunny Rogers.
Yeah.
And they were full of crack. So they were always at the back of the bus.
Causing trouble.
Yep. They used to go and help look after the kids. So they did. They were quite double act like.
Yeah.
So they were. And then don't know what else to say. What do you say?
How would you have described her relationship with like dad and stuff when you first met her when you were growing up? Was she like really strict on them, or?
I never seen her too much with them, you know. It was sort of like called round and she would have, you know, had a few words with you, and then she would have given them a shout, and then you started and you played backwards, and then you went out and called for the rest of your mates, and
Yeah.
you know, that was about it, like. So it was. But she was very inspirational, like, because she'd been on her own for a long time, like, and she'd reared her three sons, and then she was still very committed to doing what she could to make the area she lived in a better place.
Yeah.
You know, should it have been joining a committee or rolling her sleeves up and getting on with it.
Yeah.
She didn't let anything stand in her way, like, she just got on with it. And she got on with everybody. She would have given you her last.
Yeah.
So she would have.
Okay. On the bus trips, where all did you go? Like,
The zoo. I remember going to the zoo.
yeah.
This was every year with the community centre. Different trips out to places, but you know, I mainly remember going to the zoo. So I do, because when you had tribal kids with you, trying to keep a hold of them, and it was all uphill, and you were wrecked on the way back, like. But Isabel and Winnie kept up with everybody at their own pace, so they did.
Yeah.
You know, because she would have been at retirement age sort of about then anyway, but still very active.
What 3 words would you use to describe her?
Inspirational, determined, and friendly.
Is there anything in particular you'll remember her for?
Just making me welcome anytime I went round to the house. I was only 15, 16,
Yeah.
you know, so but she always made me welcome. So she did.
Yeah.
Always smiling. She was always smiling. So she never answered the door shouting or anything.
Not like the rest of us then. Oh, that's good. That's good. Thank you very much. Who are you?
Ed Williams.
How did you know Isabel?
I knew Isabel through Paul when we were young. We used to all run about together.
Describe Isabel in 3 words.
Funny, loved to laugh.
What's your most cherished memory of her?
Just of always going in and out of her house when we were young with Paul, and she always welcomed me into her house every time. Always had a laugh with her.
What was your funniest memory of her?
I was actually thinking that today. It was one years ago when Paul had the Scholastic in the back room. I decided to tell a joke, rather dirty joke, and I got to the punchline and I looked round and Belle had just come in to make a cup of tea, and the look she gave me, if looks could kill, I would have been dead 100 times. And for about 2 weeks after it, every time I come into the house, she says, "No dirty jokes," and smiled. And it wasn't the years after it, I twigged on what she was doing. She knew she had me. And it was just that smile. Every time she said, every time I set foot in the house, she says, "No dirty jokes," and just smiled.
This is her castle. You're right now. What did she mean to you?
She meant a lot to me, so she did, especially when I was young. As I say, she always welcomed me into her house, and she always had a smile on her face.
Okay. What will you remember her for?
What I remember her for bringing up her sons on her own. She hadn't much at the time, and I think she's done a great job of bringing up her children.
What do you think her biggest achievement was in your eyes?
bringing up her boys.
Did she ever inspire you?
She inspired me in a way that when you look at her, the things she done through hard times and all, she always had a smile on her face. She was always happy, and she inspired me to, I'd say, she brought her boys up well, and I hope I can do the same thing with my girls, bring them up as well as she did.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Hi, this is my wee video interview for Isabel. I'm going to get Gina to ask me the questions, and hopefully everything will be okay. So go ahead, Gina.
Who are you?
Who am I? I am Neil Aiken, or better known to some as Aiko.
How did you know Isabel?
I knew Isabel through her 3 sons, Bill, Brian and Paul.
Describe Isabel in 3 words.
To describe Isabel in 3 words, I would say she was a mother, kind and hard working.
What's your most cherished memory of her?
My most cherished memory of her, it would probably be, there'd be 2 questions to that, so if you want to ask the next question at the same time as well, I could answer the 2 of them in one.
What's your funniest memory of her?
The funniest memory of her as well. That would have to be the day that she made us tea, apple tart and fresh cream. Then Brian called her in from the kitchen and said, "Aiko says that's stinking." I didn't know where to look, but she took it in good faith and seen the funny side. Like, she knew Brian was taking the piss again.
What did she mean to you?
She was just my mate's mum, but the house was the focal point for all of us that had bikes and liked rock music, and same again, she took it all in her stride.
What was her biggest achievement in your view?
My biggest achievement in my view must have been raising 3 boys during the troubles in the village and managing to keep the 3 of them all out of trouble. She couldn't have done a better job.
What will you remember her for?
I'll always remember her for making me more than welcome any time I was there.
Did she ever inspire you?
Did she ever inspire me? It would probably have to be the same answer to question number 7. Raising 3 boys in the village during the troubles and keeping them out of trouble. That would be an inspiration. So this is the end of my video. And I hope it's
Who are you?
Hi, I'm Patricia Stevenson.
How did you know Isabel?
Isabel was my sister's mother-in-law.
Describe Isabel in 3 words.
And they were positive, clear thinking, motivational.
What was your most vivid memory of her?
Whenever she used to go into meetings and she said what she thought.
What did she mean to you?
Well, it was very, very important. If you were coming along and you weren't used to going to meetings, it was sort of thinking that you'd never get to that stage of being able to speak out. But when you've watched somebody for so long, eventually you gain the confidence to speak out.
What was her biggest achievement in your eyes?
I think bringing notice of things that needed to be done to the proper authorities. Didn't always listen, but still was able to bring.
She got it there.
Got there in the end.
What will you remember her for?
I think attending all the meetings, anything that was going, being at the forefront.
And did she ever inspire you?
Well, inspired everybody to speak out. If you didn't speak out, what was the point?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Is that alright?